Alcohol is one of the most addictive drugs on the planet. And the fact that my channel exists just shows you how hard it is to stop drinking alcohol, right? I've failed more times than I can count. I've tried everything under the sun, and for almost 10 years, I struggled. Every day was a fight. I'd promised myself I wouldn't drink, and then 3 days later, I drink again. Millions upon millions of people fail to stop drinking alcohol every single day, and it's pretty much an epidemic. And today I'm going to unpack 5 reasons why it is so hard to give up alcohol. And if you stick around to the end of the video, I'm going to show you how you can actually make the whole process so much easier. I'm going to show you an exact foolproof method that makes stopping drinking feel like a walk in the park. And I know that sounds hard to believe, so definitely stick around to the very end of the video, but I cannot wait to share this with you today. Now, very quickly, just before we get into the 5 reasons, I need to make one thing clear to you. This video is not going to be about making you feel guilt, making you feel shame. It's not going to be about labeling you, calling you an alcoholic. It's going to be nothing like that. See, the approach that I took to getting rid of alcohol from my life didn't revolve around this guilt, shame, beat you down tactic. It revolved around changing my perception of alcohol and then immediately focusing on the future rather than going to the past and sitting in meetings for the rest of my life. Now listen, if you've taken that approach, this video might not be for you. If you're doing 12 steps and you're cool with that, congratulations. I'm so happy for you. I couldn't be happier for you, and great stuff. Keep it up. But this video, I'm not going to be labeling you the problem because you're not the problem here. But one thing I won't do is I'm not going to remove the responsibility. At the end of the day, none of this was your fault, but it is fully your responsibility to fix the issue. I'm not going to stand here and say that there's nothing to fix here and there's no problems going on in your life. No, this video is going to be very realistic, but it's not going to be manipulative. It's not going to beat you down, and it's actually going to make you feel pretty damn good, especially if you stick around to the very end of the video where I show you how to get control of drinking in an easy and effortless way. Anyway, the first reason why it is so hard to stop drinking alcohol is because it is one of the most addictive drugs on the entire planet. It's up there with crack and heroin, and most people don't realize this. I remember when I was a kid, I wasn't a kid, right? But when I was a teenager, I read some book about drugs, right? Because I was very fascinated by this world of drugs. Probably not a very smart book to read, but it is what it is. But I remember there was a graph, and you're going to see a similar graph on the screen right now, where it showed how addictive a drug is and how dangerous a drug was, or how damaging it was to the body. And then at the top, it was in the top right was heroin and crack. But then very close by to that was alcohol. And I was like, what? That's a bit strange. But at the time, I didn't really think anything of it, right? I was just kind of scanning the book. But that did have an imprint in my mind that alcohol was very close by to crack and heroin. Wait a damn minute. We don't get told this. We don't get told this at school when we're growing up. I remember that we'd sit in a class in school and we got played a documentary where warned us of heroin, right? And it showed people with needles and they were homeless and it was this, dirty, horrible thing. But we didn't get any videos about alcohol. We got told about MDMA and marijuana, but alcohol? Yeah, we got no warnings. I don't know if it's still like that in the education system today, but what? This is insane. It is one of the most addictive drugs on the planet. And the problem is that when you drink a lot of it, the next day, when you don't have it, you don't feel right. You feel like something's missing. You drink alcohol, then you feel okay again. And it's imperceptible to a lot of people. They don't even realize that they're addicted to a drug. Yet then they get to 70 years of age, they look back at their life and they're like, hang on, I've drank every single day for 50 years. I never signed up for this. And it's subtle, but it is addictive. And that's not your fault, right? That is not your fault. You just fell into the same trap that most of the adult population fall into, right? But you need to be aware. You need to get real with yourself and know that this is drug addiction, which leads me to the second point. Now, if you've read Stop Drinking books, this isn't going to be a surprise to you, but when you drink one drink, what happens is it removes inhibitions and then it dehydrates you. What do you think happens, right? Your inhibitions are lowered. So the idea that you had at the beginning of the night to have 2 drinks, well, you have the 2 drinks, then all of a sudden it's like, well, who cares, right? And then the alcohol starts dehydrating you. So now you're thirsty. You've drank 2 drinks, but you're even thirstier. What do you think happens next? Well, I'm sure some people go home, right? They have the 2 drinks, they go home. But a lot of people don't. A lot of people then, after those 2 drinks that they insisted that they'd have tonight, drink a 3rd, a 4th, a 5th, a 6th. For me, it would get up to 10 drinks most of the time. And I'd wake up the next morning thinking, how did this happen again? How has this happened for the 50th time? I honestly, when I would go out with an intention to drink 1 or 2 drinks, I truly meant it. I'd be waking up the next day with that guilt, that shame, that regret, damn. Then I'd just wake up and say, right, I'm not doing this again. And then 2 days later, we're back again in the same cycle, right? And the point is that that's not your fault, right? That is not your fault. The nature of this drug is you drink one, which leads you to want to drink more. That's not the nature of you. That's not me calling you an alcoholic or something like that. I'm saying that you're a normal human that is drinking a drug that's almost by design making you want to drink more. And you got to be aware of that, right? One leads into more 99% of the time. But that makes it hard to stop because the more you drink, the deeper the addiction gets. But the design of the drug is to get you to drink more. That's why not drinking alcohol is the easiest way to control your drinking, right? There's no such thing as control, right? True control over alcohol is being able to take it or leave it, but choosing to leave it every single time. Now, the third reason why it's so hard to stop drinking alcohol is the financial incentive to get you to drink. I've explained this before, but one customer to an alcohol company could be worth $500,000, even more. It can be worth $1 million, right? I'm sure there's plenty of people out there that spend $1 million on drinking during their lifetime. In fact, I'm sure there's people that spend way more than that. But the financial incentive to get you to drink is absurd. There are people out there that are becoming billionaires. There are celebrities out there that they build their brand, they have alcohol as part of their personal brand, then they go and launch an alcohol company and they become billionaires. They sell it for $3, $4, $5 billion. It is absolute madness. There are people out there that have such a huge incentive to encourage you to drink that it's almost like fighting a losing battle. And you've got to see through these lies. You've got to see through this nonsense and this BS. But that's the world that we live in. Most people are influenced by celebrities, by marketing, by alcohol companies that want you to drink. Most people buy into this. And then when you stop drinking alcohol, we still live in that same world. So you have got to be hyper vigilant. You've got to be hyper aware of what's going on. And that's a great thing. You know, being able to see through the lies, see through the BS makes stopping drinking so much easier. So keep your wits about you. But that is what makes it hard. Which leads me to the fourth thing. And the fourth thing is that this conditioning, right, this illusion that everybody's buying into is not a new thing. It's not something that's just kind of starting to happen right now. You know, I guess one thing you'd say is that with marijuana is 20 years ago, it was the devil, right? It was the devil's work. You don't go near that stuff. Governments were saying, not good. And it's almost now like governments, you know, companies, they're trying to condition you that marijuana is a good thing. But with alcohol, it's different. It is decades upon, in fact, no, it's centuries of people conditioning you. So we just live in a world that is completely bought into this idea that alcohol is a good thing. It has been going on for hundreds of years. And I'm telling you something, it ain't good. It ain't helping you. There's nothing that you gain from drinking a poison. Which leads me to the fifth and final reason, and I'll break this down and then I'm going to show you a different way to stop drinking. But the fifth and final reason why it's so hard to stop drinking alcohol is because of these people around you. Sure, you could see that it's addictive. You could see that, okay, I'm being conditioned. People want me to drink. There's an incentive and it can still be difficult. You could stop buying into that stuff, but then you've got certain people in your life, maybe a spouse, best friends, old drinking buddies, that want to keep you as the version of you that they remember. So, you know, let's say that you say, right, I'm not drinking anymore. You step into this new version of you, the one that's leading their family, the one that's crushing their business, the one that's productive. But the old friends that you've got, even sometimes family, even sometimes the closest people in your life, they want the old you back. They want the one that's coming out, having some drinks. Most people don't really want to drink alone because they know that what they're doing is stupid. But they want the old you back. And it's almost like crabs in a bucket. Nah, come on, let's just have one drink. Come on, come back. And you've got to have courage to say no. You've got to stand firm and say, no, I'm not going back there. That version of me that you remember doesn't exist anymore. But it can make it hard to stop drinking. So what's this easier way of stopping drinking that I'm talking about? Well, if you want to learn more about that and you want to learn about a new method to getting in control of your drinking, well, what you need to do is click the link in the description right now, put your name and email address in, and it's going to take you to a different video that is going to blow your mind. So please click the link down below. I'm not sure how much longer I'll keep that video online for, so please click it immediately. Have a great day.